Hello my scrappy friends and a big welcome to my YouTube channel today. It's Melinda Sweetman here with you and thanks for joining me. I have another share here for Tracy Reed Designs. This is what I am creating and this is what I started with. So this was an A4 piece of paper that I have done a print and cut on, and this is where I'm heading. That's with all of the boxes cut out, and I've got all of my embellishments also being cut by my cameo. They're just off to the side. And the first thing that I always do is lay out where my photos are going and my journaling boxes, and then I go ahead and I stick them down. So this is the first week of November, and I'm using a dated planner for this year. So I've got the last 2 days of October, which obviously includes Halloween as well. So in Photoshop Elements, I've actually created 2 of these cards that are like 2 boxes, like the size of 2 boxes. And I've just used so for the whole spread here, I've used a combination of 6x4, 3x4 cards, and also the digital embellishments that I have printed. Words are failing me apparently. That I have printed. Some I have used in layers on, like on this card here that I'm working on. Others I have used as standalone embellishments so I can cluster them together and all those fun things. What I've done here for this Halloween card is I have found one of the pattern cards in the 4x6 size. I have backed, because these cards were printed onto sticker paper, I have just backed that sticker with that pattern paper, and I'm folding it in half. Like I mentioned, it does cover 2 boxes, and it's going to lay on top of those 2 photos I've got there for Halloween. I'm using, I think this is a 1/8 inch tape, and I'm just going to stick that straight down the center here, and then I'm going to do a couple of extra fold lines here. I'm just going to make sure that I line it up nice and straight, using my bone folder to reinforce those creases, just to make sure they are nice and crisp and that they are going to lay flat when this whole thing is open, but also that it's really easy to open them when the time comes. You can see there I've got 2 photos from Halloween. One is my younger son all dressed up as a scary clown. He's currently reading It by Stephen King. And the other is of him and myself when we were out trick-or-treating. So I've got all my photos in place, and what I think I've got the things that I know where they're going, they're all stuck down, and I'm just working on adding the embellishments and things now. Again, I've reached for one of the 6x4 cards, and I'm using this die set by Ellie Studio, and I'm just cutting some labels with that wood grain pattern. It's beautiful. I love that wood grain pattern. And I'm going to use those for a couple of journaling spots. You can see I'm using this one here. I'm just checking the size of it. I'm going to use my trimmer here to make sure I get a straight cut. And then I'm going to pull back in my page here, and I'm going to stick the 2 halves of that label. I originally was just going to have 1 half, and then I was like, you know what, I've got room here to add the other half, so I'll pop that in. Sorry if you can hear that in the background, that is the dishwasher. My kids are in bed, and I'm getting my voiceover done while I have 10 minutes to myself before we say goodnight. They are just reading. So, sticking this label down, I really like the way that looks. I'm just making sure that I line that up a little bit away from the crease so that it folds and closes properly. Then I'm using my white gel pen. My favourite white gel pens are these ones from Kiki K. They just, touch wood, they just work for me and I love them. So that's what I'm using to outline that label there. I decided I wanted to bring in another one. I do try to balance these layouts as best I can, and I kind of work on that triangle idea of 3s and across the whole spread. Again with that white gel pen, and then I wanted to add something up to the top here. So I've got this little, this one was printed as a half size box, and it is another one of the pattern cards that I have printed on the sticker paper. Again, I'm using the template. I shared it a little while ago on the Tracy Reed blog, and I'll make sure that we link to it again. But I've just dropped the files into that document and printed that. So that's how I got the half size boxes here. And I'm going to add the matching stamp for this label, and I'm using gold ink, and it's not showing up as well as I had hoped, so I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to use my Versamark, and I'm going to stamp in clear ink and then add the gold embossing powder. If you didn't know, any pigment inks like that gold, they will normally stay wet long enough for you to be able to add embossing powder. So if for any reason you don't get a perfect impression with your stamping the first time and you're using Versamark, you'll end up with clear patches, right? But if you're using the gold with the gold embossing, for example, you'll have gold stamping if you miss a bit with the embossing powder. I hope that makes sense. It is a little hack that I picked up a while ago, and I think it's brilliant. So I decided to add that ombre rainbow to that label to the top left because I knew I was going to add this to the right hand side somewhere. It's another one of those double boxes that I have used the digital elements to create layers, and I really like the way they've come together. I wanted some more labels, and I wanted to bring this yellow in. I love this colour, it's beautiful. And you can see I'm just using my mister here, adding the stamping and embossing, and then I'm going to die cut them. I was having drama with my white gel pen. For some reason it just was being weird. I'm treating all of my labels the same way, so this one's getting a white outline as well, and I'm going to stick this one along here. Just a little somewhere to add some journaling, making sure that I've got that space to do that. Now, I didn't realise until like this point that when I add that pumpkin there, I've actually got that pumpkin in a triangle across that spread again, which was a happy accident, but it worked out really, really well. It gives me my 3, and when I realised, I was like, hey, I did that without even thinking about it, and it really helps to balance everything. I've got 2 giant ones and a small one, and then these mushrooms are just the cutest things. I love them so much. I'm going to bring those 2 in on that yellow label there, and then I've got the other yellow label on the right hand side, and I've got just enough room to add some journaling to that little label there. Don't add a whole heap more from here, I don't think. I do play with these pumpkins, are beautiful. I love them so much. If you haven't worked out already, I'm an Aussie, and we are currently going into summer, so it can be a bit tricky using these fall theme products at this time of year, but you can see I feel like I've made them work because we've got Halloween on the first 2 days of the week, so I'm like, I can just carry that across and it's just going to work. I feel like I could use like the mushrooms and the leaves and a lot of the colours and patterns anywhere in an album, which is one of the things that I love about Tracy's collections. Though a lot of them are themed, they still have a lot of flexibility in them. I've got these washi strips here, again, part of the embellishments that I've printed and cut. I'm just going to add that in 2 places. And I've got the washi right down the bottom next to my cat, and then the other strip of washi above the other card that I created there. I'm going to stick all these bits down. I surprised myself when I got pretty much to this point. I was like, you know what, I'm going to add my journaling, and I think I'm going to call it done from here. I normally fill all the space, but for some reason when I did this, I was quite happy with how it was looking. I do come back in just a minute and add in a couple of extra things, but it's just to carry on the patterns and things that I've already got happening. So I'm just going to add this journaling card. So I've trimmed off some of that journal card. I'm going to pull up all these bits and stick this down here, just so I can add some journaling in there. And then this is another one of the half boxes that I have printed on that template, and I'm going to cut this one in half and add that in 2 places as well, which is then going to create another visual triangle. So I'm going to have this down the bottom with that rainbow, to the left with the Happy Halloween, and then up the last little piece here I'm going to add up to where the diagonal striped washi is, just in there. Pull all this up again. Thankfully, this is one of the good things about using the ATG. It doesn't stick permanently straight away. I just showed you my little openable with the Happy Halloween. Here are a few close-ups of all of the things that I've created. I have also put in some of those mustard coloured alpha stickers that I've added into a few different places, again creating 3 parts across the page. Added my journaling in gold or white, and that's my page done. I really love all the white space on here, which is very different for me. As always, thank you so much for choosing to spend your scrappy time with me. I really do appreciate it, and I shall see you in my next process video. Have a fantastic day.